created strictly for entertainment and educational purposes, focusing on the life, career, and legacy of Elvis Presley. While we aim to provide accurate and engaging material, certain elements may include personal opinions, creative interpretation, or historical speculation. This channel is not affiliated with, endorsed by, or connected to Elvis Presley Enterprises, Graceland, or any official estate representatives. All images, audio, video, and references are used under fair use for commentary, research, and educational discussion. Viewers are encouraged to verify historical details through official sources. The creators of this channel make no claims of ownership over copyrighted material and assume no liability for how the content is interpreted or used. By watching, you agree to these terms and acknowledge the content is provided for entertainment only.
Will be the story of the day.
Oh my God, where did that one go? There we go.
Sorry, you caught me in a little snack here. Priscilla, the gift that keeps on giving. This is definitely for entertainment purposes only.
I don't know so much if I would call it a gift, but definitely keeps on giving, that's for sure.
Let's see who we got on board here. Comments up. Hey, Patty. We got 10 watching already. Who else we got on board? What do y'all think about my background? Okay, now I don't have anything for you, buddy. Here. All I got is a bone for you. There you go. There you go. No? Anyway, I've read the book. I've watched the interviews. I've almost got to the point of drinking. Hey, Joanne. Yeah, you caught us live. Excellent. Good to have you on board. Sally, hello. Who else we got on there? We got 13 watching, but we only have 4 that's copping out, telling us who they are. All right. Okay, Finnegan, I have nothing. Okay, buddy? I don't here. Okay, I do have something. I lied. Here you go. Come take that. Come on. I can't have snacks with a dog around.
Yeah, he doesn't want. He don't want dog snacks. He want dad snacks.
Okay, buddy. All right, so we got a lot. I've got some video, a little video that Kyle made discussing one of the things that was mentioned in the book about Mike Stone. I have a few clips. We'll decide whether we want to watch it. Some of the interviews it's actually kind of hilarious. I should have sped them up so we're gonna make it fun. So you got that. I did watch the and record the book tour interview that was streamed. It's not out there. Oh, some people may have it out there. Okay, come on. Okay, no more. I have nothing. Go. So what I'm thinking, I do have it where I put it up on Google Drive for people to look and watch. But my concern was that link getting around and getting to the unmentionable. Actually, I need to share that while we're here. So I took it down, and I'm thinking about doing a Zoom movie watch with it. So if you guys are interested in getting on Zoom and watching it, like I'm going to do with the Aloha from Hawaii movie watch we're going to do, let me know and I'll set it up. It's only an hour, and it's actually quite humorous. It's sad. It's humorous. It's just
be prepared, though.
In the title, she's the gift that keeps on giving, and it's not good stuff. It's actually hilarious. Some of it's just, at the end of the day, I'm going to just tell you my opinion right now about Priscilla. I think that woman has done more damage to the legacy of Elvis than anybody. Period. Anybody.
Yeah. My opinion is she's not all there anymore.
Right. Hey,
She's
Kirsty.
and
Tracy.
and that's putting my opinion of her aside, just
Yeah.
based on what I saw and what I heard. She's not all there. I
No.
mean, she can't even hold a conversation. The poor guy that was trying to do the interview had a very rough time, because he would literally pose a question and she would start answering the question, and 5 seconds in she would ask him to repeat the question, and she would be totally off on something else. And instead of saying she forgot the question or whatever, she'll start giggling about something stupid.
Yeah,
And
I know that whenever I've she's got to tell when she's lying. Aside from the fact that her lips are moving, there's a tell she has, and that's the wrong folder. There's a tell she has. She starts the question and she laughs at the end of it.
yeah, and it's almost what's the word I'm looking for? It's almost like she's using the stupid giggle to divert the conversation and to divert questions that she either doesn't want to answer or doesn't know how to answer.
Right.
Because at one point, she got to the point where she was giggling so much, uh, the conversation went off in a completely different direction the whole time. And eventually, what was he using at one point? He was using it as the butt of every question. Uh, he was saying something, and she would say, "Oh yeah," and he'd refer to it time and time and time again. And eventually, you actually got to the point where you realized that the only reason why he was doing that is because he was out of decent questions, and he was battling to have a coherent conversation with her.
Yeah. So let me go through this real quick. I need to do this before each session we do because most of you have seen this, but these are the rules of engagement with the channel. And this is how we keep this channel straight and clean and not having any drama and hate and all that. And it's done. We've done very well. Unfortunately, I've only had to block 3 people since I started this. Well, since I started this a year ago, and I blocked one a little while ago, about last week or the week before. Then I blocked another one who insulted another. Anyways, let's read to this. Number one, we never mention the unmentionable. We know who the unmentionable is. His name's not to be mentioned on this channel. Period. So I said blocked immediately, but I'm going to give a warning. I'm going to change that to one warning because some people may, just may make a comment and not even think about it real quick. So I give people leeway like that. No politics, period. You get one warning. No religion. No trolls. They will be gone immediately. Anybody we caught as a troll will be gone. And then you never insult another person on this line. You don't get any warnings. You're gone. We don't do it. And that's what keeps us up. But we have great conversations. There's nothing wrong with disagreeing and discussions and all that. We respect everybody's opinion. We agree to disagree when we need to. And that's how we keep this going. We've got a great channel. As far as I'm concerned, I think we got the best Elvis channel on YouTube because we offer more to you all than anybody else does. We offer you the live chats. We offer the movie watches, and I'm sorry I'm going through this right now, but I just want to just mention that we offer the inside the studio, the little shorts that I do, the duets, and we just got a lot of stuff we give you guys. So that's why I think overall we just got the best channel. Well, we're not perfect, we make mistakes, but I think we got the best channel. Anyways, we've got that covered for everybody. So let's get back to the discussion here. So anyways, we're going to get into the book here. I'm going to share a couple clips. I'm going to share a video that Kyle put together on the Mike Stone deal. Kyle does some great little, AI. I guess he uses AI and a script and all that. And but it's all his information that he inputs, and he puts together a really nice little. He's got a good series and a format going. So I love sharing those with you all. So I've got one today that is a response to a statement in the book. Tuesday night, I got the book. I didn't get the audio till 3, so I just waited till the audio came out. It was a little bit later than 3, and then it was disheartening to find out that she was the one narrating it. My God, and she had that little laugh and all that. So
Oh,
I decided to listen to it at. I kicked back, relaxed, and put the speed at 1.7 or 1.5, and it was a little bit more enjoyable. You could still tell it was her with this damn stupid, obnoxious laughs. But the book is sickening. It is absolutely sickening, and we're going to just cover some points. I've got Kyle put together. I did a deep dive and compared it to my notes in the book, but mine was so huge that I'm going to do something else with it. But Kyle basically has got it all put into a nice synopsis, a nice overview of the points, and it's compared to Lisa. It's compared between Priscilla and Lisa's book, and I think it might have Elvis and me in there too. So it's a nice overview of what was said in the book. If you haven't read it, um, she's. I make the statement again. I think she's done more damage to Elvis's legacy, and she's doing more of it now. I hate to. I hate to. I don't like to wish bad luck on anybody, but it's kind of given me pleasure to know that she's not as popular as she used to be because there's a date that's been canceled on her tour, and I looked at the tickets sold at the units at the places, and if you got a place that seats like 1,000, she's only sold like 200 tickets, and the one that I watched the other night, it only had like if it was 150 tickets, it was it would be lucky in that place. The whole balcony wasn't even used. It's sold out. It was closed down. So she's not getting the attraction, and I'm pretty sure they used an applause track when they were streaming it because it just anyway. It's really frustrating. So we're going to get into that. Let me catch up on some comments here real quick. I'm trying to stay on top of this, and and Cam, you pop in too because you just stop me if you see something, what you usually do, anyways.
I mean, how long in that hour interview did she run? But she dedicated about a good 35 to 40 minutes puking about Navarone. It was
Yeah,
like I got to one point and thought to myself, okay, but uh, you barely mentioned Lisa, you barely mentioned Riley, you don't even mention the twins. So what is this? Is this a Navarone party? I thought to myself, I feel really sorry for the people that paid actual money for a literal ticket and had to go sit with their asses in those chairs because hell knows if it was me, I would have walked out within the first 30 minutes of it.
her her description of Navarone as actually a sweet innocent boy
Yeah.
is sickening. She lies about him and his fentanyl addiction. About how it was discovered. And since you guys haven't seen you won't see it unless I show it to you or somebody does put it up on YouTube. I'm not going to put it on YouTube because I'll get a strike. So I would rather show it to everybody in a Zoom watch. If anybody wants to watch it, I'll set it up. But or I'll put it up on Google, and I won't post the link on Discord. You guys just send me an
Email.
email, and I'll send it to you. Let's do it that way. So if you don't have my email address, here it is. I don't have one made for this studio, so it's all Elvis.
Yeah, she she painted him out to be this pathetic little, well, in my opinion, he is a pathetic human being, but she painted him out to be this so hard done by little boy that needs protecting, and Oh, if only if it hadn't been for his mama, and oh my lord, it was like I thought, she. I mean, let's be generous here. How much time did she really dedicate to talking about Lisa? Really?
She didn't. She really didn't talk about her a lot. She called Riley her daughter at one point.
Yeah,
Um, you know, she and it was the grandchildren. It was never Harper and Finley. It was
yeah,
the grandchildren.
yeah. She always spoke in the third person of them. It's
Yeah,
like that. Like,
she's definitely got something going on in her head. I think,
she's no,
but she shouldn't be out there.
she's
If she's got something,
no,
some sign of dementia, somebody around her needs to bridle her back. But she's also so freaking greedy. She's not going to happen.
no.
So let's look at a couple clips from a couple comments. For everybody here, this is a Priscilla review. So I know that I don't want to broach these subjects anymore on our standard shows because those are for the fun. That's for the fun and all that. So I do these for everybody that wants to be involved with this and can handle and deal with watching this stuff and then commenting. So
Yeah,
that's why I'm doing this today.
I agree 100% with you, Max. If she protected Lisa half as much as she protected or as she protects Neveron, uh, the chances of Lisa possibly getting help would have been 80% out of 100. Because if I always look at it like this: if Neveron has to end up the way Lisa ended up, uh, Priscilla would spend her last penny to make sure that that kid survives. And it's very sad that you know she basically only acknowledges Neveron as her family. The rest, she talks as though they possessions, as though uh, they books on a shelf that she can pull off when and if she needs to. But other than that, uh, Lisa, Riley, Finley, and Harper are just extras on a movie set kind of thing. It's crazy. I feel sorry for her in a way, but in a way I don't because I'm a firm believer in karma, and unfortunately, this is the bed she's made for herself. 48 years in the making, and it's getting time where she's now exposing the bed that she's made, and uh, I don't feel sorry for her in any sense,
Is that
not
any
at all.
better? I now just said you're coming in louder than I am.
Yeah,
Um,
that's better.
is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. Let me know if that's better then. And if I'm coming through, just let me know. I hear it the way I hear it through my headphones, and I usually crank it up, so I can't really tell.
And I agree. It's supposed to be a book about her life after
Yeah,
Elvis, but it's exactly it's a Elvis and Me 2.0.
yeah. If she beats on him, she. All right, here's a little clip from the Colbert Show. I'm not going to play the whole Colbert interview. I got it here for a few minutes. If anybody wants to, if you all want to watch it, say yeah. I've got the time. I got the time. Shauna's going to do one at 9:30. So if you're available to watch it, she's going to go into to the book review also. I know a lot of you over on the other side of the pond. You probably won't watch it, but you can always catch the recap. So this.
It was hard for me to write it, but I felt I needed to write it. I needed to get it off me. I needed to share it with people that always came to me, like I said, and asked me, how was it living with Elvis? Listen, I didn't leave because I didn't love Elvis. I love him to this day. It was just the lifestyle was very difficult. I had a little girl, I had guys all around, about 6 of them. It was a guy's world, completely a
it's
guy's world.
Right.
And
Which you knew.
I've kind of felt a bit left out. And I thought, I'm going to have to do something for myself. And I started taking dance classes. And then I started, going to the gym. And I love the dance classes, by the way. And I was in a couple of shows with it, and I figured out this is what I love to do. I love being out there and doing something that I like to do and love to do, actually, like I said. And I started feeling confident and feeling like I can do something too, you know.
Okay, so now on The View, it was 5 guys around her. This is all the same day. This is all within a 24-hour period. So on Colbert, she says 6 guys. On The View, she says 10. And then on the book tour
5.
interview, she says 5.
And note something. Sorry to jump in here if I know I'm interrupting, but one thing I picked up. Notice how many times she used the word "I."
Yeah. Yeah.
Just in that short little clip you played there, how many times, I don't know if anybody else caught it, but I would be interested if somebody did. How many times did she use the word I had to write it, I had to tell the story, I had to do it for my, I had to, I.
Yeah. Yeah, and she started I'm here. I'm just going to play just the very start.
It was hard for me to write it, but I felt I needed to write.
Yeah, she needed to write it because of Lisa's book.
Yes.
Okay, trying to catch up on a comment here. I saw one I want to respond to. Jeez,
Ask her about the pasta.
yeah, I've got that here. I'm going to share that right now. I'll share that right now.
Was it a bit steamy?
Hmm.
Was the email a bit steamy?
Well, I would say. Oh, I put the documents over there. Okay. All right, Riley.
Spaghetti or lasagna?
What happened?
No, Kyle said they need to ask her about the pasta.
All right, guys. I'm gonna swap this one thing here real quick, and then I'm going to share this right here. And let me remove that. And okay, why aren't you in the scene?
Yeah, I picked that up also, Costi. Talking about, oh yeah, she was, the day Elvis threw the chair at her, he was arguing with Joe. It had something to do with Joe. I thought, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
throw Joe under the bus. He's
Yeah.
not here to defend himself, so throw Joe under the bus.
So here's the email from Riley too. I think this is the one you're talking about, right, Kirsty? I think I got this from you, as a matter of fact. She says, unfortunately, Nona, as you are taking me to court, I am being forced to defend my mother's wishes legally and publicly, which would not have been my choice. It is, let me get over here. It is really hurtful that after years of me trying to resolve your and my mother's broken relationship and restore our family, you are taking me, of all people, to court. I have protected you from lawsuits from my mother, often advocating for you, and always tried to keep everyone operating out of love. Even a few weeks ago, before my mother passed, she wanted to sue you again, and you called me for help. I advised her so strongly against it, which resulted in a fight between me and her. But as you know, she chose to listen to me and not sue you. I believed then and now lawsuits among family members have no place, but here we are. I must also share with you that I found being called about the will less than 24 hours after my mother passed, and getting emails from lawyers before my mother was even buried. Incredibly heartbreaking. It was very upsetting that I was forced to find a lawyer to represent me and my sisters at my mother's wishes within days of her passing. I assume that you are being advised to take these actions by your representatives, but you must know that this chosen path can only further estrange our family, which is really sad. My hope is that you are being poorly advised and this is not actually coming from you. But what I don't understand is why there is a narrative that this massive falling out between you and my mother in 2016 didn't occur. My mother very loudly and clearly asserted to many people, including you, that she felt you had financially and personally betrayed her, and as a result, she was taking you off the trust and replacing you with my brother and me. If you are trying if you are trying to remove me from the estate under the guise that you don't remember the falling out about the Promenade Trust and her finances, it doesn't make any sense because you were still estranged from my mother at the time of her death, all as a result of this same falling out. I am now being forced to fight you in court to protect my mother and my mother's wishes for her estate, which you know goes against my nature. Wow.
Yeah, and Priscilla's out there saying, "Oh no, she was so close to Lisa," and everyone's like, "Yeah, right." Everybody knows Lisa could. Lisa, I mean, Lisa didn't even want to sit with her at the damn award show.
Yeah.
I mean, if she really was as close to her mother as her mother makes out to be, why the hell did she walk down the red carpet with Jerry Schilling?
Yeah. Mm.
I don't know. This woman, I tell you, she's living on borrowed time. This woman, if she thinks she's advancing her career, keep going the way you're going, honey. You pushing it further down the toilet. If ever there is anything still left to go down,
Well, I'm
keep
going to
going
tell
the
you
way
right
you're going.
now, her fan base is going to be, we're going to know how her fan base is going by the book sales, by the how many people attend to these events, how many of these events are going to be um, canceled because of lack of sales.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. Thanks, Kosti. That's another thing I picked up in the interview. She talks about in the interview. She slams Coppola for the movie
Yeah.
about how shitty the movie is, and she only saw the movie after the movie was done at the premiere and blah blah blah. And then I thought to myself, okay, what BS are you talking? Because if you go out there and look on the internet, in fact, I downloaded it a couple of weeks ago and watched it and trashed it out afterwards. There's actually behind the scenes footage where they sit and they conduct an interview where Priscilla is in the room with Sofia Coppola and they're actually discussing the meeting that they first had about the movie and how she was kept up to date on a weekly basis during the filming of the movie. Priscilla, it actually
See you
showed
later, Val.
pieces in the interview where Priscilla was actually on set during the shooting of the movie. So how the hell can Priscilla now come and throw Sophia under the bus because she made a shitty movie and oh yeah, she doesn't know anything about it? She lies. She
Yeah.
knew about it. She knew about it right from the get-go. She was there on the first day of shooting. She was there for the first week and a half of shooting. She was there on the final day of shooting too. So how the hell you want to tell me she didn't know the story?
Margaret, that's a good point right there. And when you hear this, I'm gonna pull up I'm gonna pull that video up that of the book tour, and I'm just gonna kind of skip through it. I don't want to really play much of it. I just want you to see her demeanor. And I should have really marked some times on it, but I didn't think about I was going to show it. But so Lisa told her mom at the Globe that she wasn't feeling well, and Prissy ignored her. That if that was me, I'd have taken her straight to the hospital to be checked out. It's
Yeah.
quite interesting that too, because that's true. And I think didn't they actually go out to get a drink after the Globe? But here's the thing: in the interview, at the book tour, she was like immediately taking Navron to the hospital when he said he was taking fentanyl. And that's another lie she told. She says that he comes up to her and he's not feeling well and all that. And finally, he told her that he'd been doing fentanyl. And then in the same sentence, almost in the same sentence, she's telling the story. She gets to the point, well, when he was at the doctor's and they were going everything, that's when I discovered he was taking fentanyl.
And I'm
in the same sentence.
I'm no drug recovery expert, but I kind of know how strong and how bad fentanyl is.
Oh, fentanyl, bad.
But please tell me that somebody outside of a professional environment can kick fentanyl in 2 weeks.
Nobody can kick it in 2 weeks. And I'm telling you something right now, with the videos that I've seen of him recently, especially since Lisa Marie died, that guy's still doing something.
Well,
I don't see him as being 100% clean.
Well, in some way to kind of lighten the burden. If I were him, if I had a mother like him, I would also be doing something.
He's just a flat out loser.
But she talks in the interview that after 2 weeks he was doing good, he was clean.
Yeah,
I thought to myself,
no
yeah,
freaking
right.
way, with all the stuff he'd been doing for a long time.
Tom
Nobody
Petty
gets out stuff like that in 2 weeks.
Tom Petty died because he had an overdose of fentanyl in his system and he didn't even know it. So
Yeah.
you want to tell me that somebody like him can kick fentanyl in 2 weeks and he wasn't even in a rehab facility? He did it at home with her help? Yeah, right. Kiss my ass.
I don't know. I think she's absolutely disgusting.
She's not all that. She's not all that.
I'm going to tell everybody right now, and I said this when I told you I was going to get the book. Don't waste your time. It's the same rhetoric, and I'm going to go over the review here that Prince died of it. Yeah, Prince died of fentanyl overdose.
Him too.
Yeah, it's nasty stuff, and it's just. Anyways, let's share some other things here real quick. So I showed you the Colbert clip. Now I don't know how to
Nearly 60 years ago.
What's that?
I'm laughing because I can hear Max. I can hear Max fuming as she's typing. Surprised she didn't put golden balls into Scientology for them to sort out like she did with Lisa. Yeah.
All right, here's a little short clip from. I don't even know what this show is. I don't watch any of this thing. But this is her little book tour that day, where she went everywhere within a couple of days.
Priscilla Presley became a permanent part of pop culture history when she married the king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley.
And I'm telling you right now, the narrative that they start off with was written by her.
But there is so much more to.
Huh?
Every time they give her the name Presley, I cringe.
Yeah.
Because
story.
she has no right to use it.
Yeah, I'm going on the same thing about Donna Presley.
In a new memoir called Softly As I Leave You, Life After Elvis, Priscilla opens up like never before about love, loss, family, and becoming the woman she is today. We're so happy you're here.
Hi, Priscilla.
Hi, thank you for having me.
I haven't seen you in a while, and I'm so happy to see you.
Oh, thank you.
Since we have to ask, you just became a grandmother again.
Congratulations.
Riley had another baby.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, we were just together a couple of days.
Yeah, you're right, Kirsty. They're all pansy interviewers. Even when she interviewed with Piers Morgan, who's usually a hard-nosed interviewer sometimes,
Yeah, like never before. She opens up like never before. Okay, so you guys haven't done your research because she has written a bullshit book in 1986. That was her first book, but this is her. She's opened up like never before. Yeah, she has opened up like never before. She's telling new lies.
You know how I always say about body language? Tell me about the body language in this picture. Look at the space between the two.
Yeah,
Riley's got her hand behind her. She's got her. You can see it's coming around the
yeah.
corner. It's got it around her waist, but it's almost like she's. If it's your grandmother, you would have been a little bit closer, I think. So let's watch the rest of this interview.
Days ago, and it's so great to have
26 minutes.
a family again.
Yes.
Just,
What do the grandkids call you?
Nona.
Nona.
Yeah, I had them call me Nona, not Grandma.
This memoir is beautiful and personal, and it starts really when you decide to leave Elvis. Tell me what went in, or tell us what went into that decision. How did you know, and we know how you knew, but how did it feel once you left, when you were on your own for the first time?
Oh my gosh. I know I don't want this to be taken wrong.
Yeah.
But it was freedom for me. And
Yes.
freedom because it was Elvis's life.
Yes.
And I catered to everything, on his life and what his obligations were. And the guys, I lived with 6 other guys, and
Yeah.
I was the only woman and girl at that time.
I don't think people realize that.
Yeah.
You were saying you were never really in a room alone because there were always people
Always,
there.
always
around.
people. Yeah, exactly.
And I thought it was interesting in your book when you talk about dating again. He was never quite far away, was he? What was that like when you were dating other people?
No, well, he didn't ask very much.
Because he kind of always would call.
Well, we would talk, on the phone. I would call him about certain things, our daughter, and we had a really good, honest conversations, and it kind of broke the ice of being his wife. We talk and share things, and
Okay, why
it
the
was actually
stuttering?
better than being.
What's that?
If this is sorry guys, this thing's I don't know why, but this woman just sends my blood up into shit street. If this was the life that she supposedly loved, right? Every time she's asked anything regarding Elvis, the life they loved or whatever, it's always if she's regurgitated the same story so many times, or if there was any ounce of truth to it, she would get to the point where she would direct the questions herself to something else, and she would speak freely and openly without effort. But it's always it's because it's giving the worm upstairs time to pull the right strings for the right thoughts to come to mind. It's and everyone is like, even these people that are interviewing her, it's right, like someone said here in the comments, it's always like, why don't they come out with, why is it a no question, why can it never be a no holds barred question or a no holds barred interview? Why are the questions always given beforehand, which I can guarantee you they are. She
yeah.
They get pre whatever they want
They
to.
get what you can't say and what you can't ask about. That's what
Yes,
they get.
yes. Why is it never, if she doesn't have anything to hide, if this is such a truthful and honest account, why is it never a no holds barred question? Why is it
Right.
never a no holds barred interview? It's always the same shit. What was life about? What was life like when you met Elvis? What was it like? What brought you to this decision to leave him? What was it like living in a house with all those guys? We all know the same bullshit. And the point is that, yet again, she chose it. She knew it. She knew it as far back as when she was 14 years old in Bad Nauheim in Germany.
I'll
She
stick with
knew.
that belief till the day I die that she walked in that
Yes.
room and her mother and her had a plan.
Oh yeah. The guys were always there. She knew about it
Yeah.
from the first day she ever laid. she ever breathed the same oxygen in the same room that Elvis breathed. She knew those guys were going to be there, and she knew that was the life that she was going into. Now she wants to cry about it 48 years later again because, oh my God, shame, poor Priscilla. She couldn't handle the life with Elvis. Oh yeah, but she can now because without him, where would she be today? Honestly, without him, where would she be? She would be a nobody. She'd be a has-been.
Yeah, you're right, Tracy. You know when she's lying. She grapples and like Cam just said, and then she'll laugh a little.
Yeah. Did any of you guys out there, sorry, I'm taking over. I have to get this out. Did any of you guys see the post that Ginger Alden put up on the Facebook?
I've got it here. I'm going to show it in a minute.
Jeez, that post alone could have been a book. I didn't even read
I'm
it.
not a fan of Ginger's, but she makes a good post. That's a good
I,
post.
I didn't even read it, but by judging by the length of the post, I knew, oh, here we go. She's setting something straight here. And in my opinion, she's full within her right to do it. She's full within her right to do it because she does. Unfortunately, everybody has their opinion with regard to the relationship and whatever the case may be, but I always take the stance. None of us were there.
Yeah. All right,
Uh,
let's finish this interview here. Got 3 minutes left.
Married.
Yes. And you never remarried.
No.
Was that a conscious choice?
No, I just couldn't find anyone.
Yes.
I could-
I mean, it was sometimes hard. There was a huge shadow.
Yeah.
You know, Elvis loomed large.
Yes, very much so. Very much so.
You write a little bit about how your parenting styles were different.
Yes.
Lisa Marie, who I got to know, I interviewed both of
Yes.
you
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
You were more structured.
Yes.
How did that work? Co-parenting.
It didn't
with
work.
him?
She was my only daughter, and I really
went up,
doted
yeah.
over her and made sure that she, even with her friends, I was cautious about who she hung out with and who, she would get information from. I mean, she always liked older boys, and well, so did I, but probably from that, I'm nervous about her being free and on her own. But she just had a mind of her own and really wanted to, go out and experience the world. And I had to give her a lot of that. In the meantime, being a mother concerned.
I thought it was interesting you talk about the fact that
Sorry, I just want to jump in here.
Okay.
I couldn't help but pick it up. Note when the camera goes to her, right? And she's answering what she's been asked. Note the eyes are going to the left corner, to the top. And what does that denote? That denotes that you're going to that part of your mind where you've memorized answers. She's going back to that specific place in her mind where she's having to recall what she might have said where with regard to whatever. Just take note of it. Whereas if it was
That's a good point.
spontaneous and truthful, it would be either straight ahead or it would be her eyes would be going to the right slightly.
fact that the Elvis movie starring Austin Butler in some ways brought the two of you together in a way, or closer. How so?
In a way, yes. Well, Austin did an amazing job.
I just realized you had control of the video like I did.
Yes.
Damn, think I can stop and start it? No, I'm just kidding. I didn't think about that.
It's my
You need to
telepathic
do that more
powers.
often.
Yeah.
When you have a comment, just pause it.
Yes,
Have
he
to
did.
give that to him. Lisa and I were both concerned, again, how that was going to turn out, how the movie was going to turn out. And we both became friends, and even she, really adored him, Austin. He was such a nice guy. It still is, obviously, but he was just right on. He did 2 years of studying.
But what a gift for the two of you.
Yes.
That you
And
wouldn't
open
know
the
it
door
then.
again for these younger generations to know who Elvis Presley was.
Yes.
Yes.
And
You know,
why
I was
won't
thinking
you
this
make
morning
eye
as I was
contact?
preparing.
What's that?
Why won't she make eye contact?
She won't.
When
She can't. You can't do that when you're lying.
When
So,
she
and I
does,
was-
it's fleeting. It's for seconds, which means that there's another point you hit it straight on there. The only time you can't make eye contact with somebody for a prolonged period of time, unless you have ADHD,
Uh-huh.
which she doesn't have. She just has something else, but that exactly that she
She
can't.
has DAB,
What's that?
dumbass bitch.
Yeah, and that's true. She
Yeah.
actually, in fact, go back and look at any television interview she's ever done. She can never look at anybody straight in the eye for longer than 2 seconds.
As you know, I'm dealing with my own loss in my own life, loss of my husband. You know, you've had a lot of loss, obviously, not just Elvis, but with, you know, with your daughter and her son. What keeps you going in the morning? There are people who are watching who sometimes, and I now know, are holding so much stuff. What gets you up and keeps you going?
Well, I have a son. I have a
Sure.
son, of course, that, you know, I adore.
That's what
And
keeps you going.
I have the girls, you know, who I absolutely
grandkids.
adore as well. And that kind of, I have a family. I have a family.
Sorry, but notice, and this I take to the interviewers also. I take them to task also. They are always referred to as your daughter, your granddaughters. It's never Lisa, Riley,
No.
Harper, Finley. It's
19.
like you have a daughter, you have a son, you have granddaughters. It's so impersonal. They in fact, as interviewers, are enforcing the narrative that the people she has in her life, with the exception to spoiled as brats, are just exactly that. They are commodities in her life, and I find that so disheartening and disrespectful.
Yeah.
A family, a very close family. So that's really what keeps me going. And then, of course, working and doing things too that I like to do, that I can choose to do. So,
Like choosing to write this beautiful memoir,
what?
choosing to write this beautiful memoir, and keeping Graceland alive. I was with you in 2017. I feel like we have pictures of it, which was so fun.
Yeah,
And I know
that's
you
great.
worked so hard to keep his. There we
look
are
at this.
walking through Graceland.
Beautiful.
Right.
Oh, that's 2 different days. I think those were 2 different days. But thank you, Priscilla, for this.
you.
Thank you
Oh,
for
well,
being
thank
here.
you so much. I really appreciate being here. I love the show. I watch it every morning.
Thank you so much. Now pinch me.
There you go.
All right, you guys check out Priscilla's new memoir.
You asked.
I did. Softly as I Leave You, Life After Elvis. You can get it at today.com/books.
No,
No,
I'm not going to
thank
let
you.
you promote it.
Hard pass.
Crazy. All right. Let me do one more thing here. And then we're going to.
It was hard for me to write.
I did that one, didn't I? Okay. That's stupid.
That,
That's the
he,
first
he,
one.
here's another thing. Here's
Go ahead.
another thing. Here's another thing I've picked up. If they can dehumanize Riley and the twins and Lisa, you will never hear an interviewer or even Priscilla say my ex-husband or my daughter's father. When it comes to Elvis, she'll say Elvis.
Mhm.
She'll never say my daughter's father or my granddaughter's grandfather or whatever, but yet she refers to her own daughter as my daughter. Navarone she calls by his name. She never, hardly ever refers to him as my son. She'll always name him by his name. The same also for Elvis. She'll never say my ex-husband or my late ex-husband or my daughter's father. Why?
Oh.
Says a lot. It's not always about what people say.
Email me, Sam, and I'll send you the link, and you can download the book from Kirsty, from me, or I think she posted it on mine too. So, or you can join Kirsty's, either one. Yeah, but you're more than welcome to join my Discord. But you got to email me so I can send you the link. This is the press bio that she puts out for these places. Priscilla Villiel is a businesswoman, author, designer, producer, and actress, best known for her roles in the television drama Dallas and the Naked Gun movies. As the co founder and former chairperson of Elvis Presley Enterprises, she is credited with turning Elvis Presley's mansion, Graceland, into the second most visited historic home in the United States. As a key architect of the Elvis Presley legacy, I got to read that again. As a key architect of the Elvis Presley legacy, what the fuck did she do for the legacy? She has
And,
curated, except for damage it. She has curated and produced albums, books. Yeah, the Philharmonic ones that I don't like, but that's neither here nor there. Books, films, and concerts honoring the late music legend. She lies in she lives she lies. She lives and lies in Los Angeles near her grandson and grandchildren, where she continues her lifelong commitment to animal advocacy. That makes you want to puke right there just reading that.
as much as I really don't like the guy, I'm going to defend him to a certain extent here.
Ooh.
Jack Soden.
Oh yeah.
If he didn't have the business knowledge that he had and the connections he had back in 1981, Graceland wouldn't be where it was today because Priscilla went to Jack Soden because he
I
was
look at
the
it this way with Priscilla and that whole time, because this is long before internet. This is long before the books and all that, all this other stuff that's out there. So she was still very popular and, still is with a lot of people. But all she was to me is when you go to a car show and these companies show their big old fancy cars, all she is to me is that model, that girl that stands in front of the car goes, that's it. That's
yes.
all she ever to me. That's all she ever contributed was to stand there and say, "I'm, I was his ex. I was married. I don't know whatever she was said back then." And that to me is the only contribution she made to the whole thing.
Where did she architize Elvis's legacy? When last was she ever? When last was she at Graceland with a legitimate Graceland event? First question. Second question is why is Graceland not endorsing her book?
There's obviously, I think that every bit of that has to do with Riley. I don't think Riley wants her involved with it at all, and she's going to have a big say so in her. Her. What's his name? Wineshaker. How do you pronounce his name? Wineshaker.
Yeah, Joe.
He was very close with Lisa, and I'm sure Riley's very close with him too because they have a connection with that situation with that thing. And I'm pretty sure that Riley made it very clear that she does not want her Nona to be involved with anymore. That's just my opinion.
Tracy, to get to your comment, I'm going out on a limb here. I would say no. I would say no. Soden didn't know about it. I think the only people that knew about it at that point in time was Siegel and Priscilla. I
Except
mean, how long did it take? How many years did it take for Lisa to even for it to become known even to Lisa? And I think my personal opinion is yes, as much as Soden and Priscilla were in pocket for X amount of years or whatever the case may be, I think had Jack Soden known about Jerry Siegel, he would have been the first one to run to Lisa because he would have known that his job is on the line. No, he's not a businessman anymore because he's sitting in the pound seats now. He's done. But back in the day, uh, with the size of the mission at hand, uh, Jack Soden and his colleagues were the only people around that had the business know-how to pull off what they pulled off. But
No.
whether he's still a businessman seen in the same sense, I would possibly say no, because he's got it. He's in a done deal. He helped raise the golden goose that lays the golden egg. So, and I mean he's had to do with Priscilla over how many years he worked with Lisa also after
Yeah,
how many
I don't
years.
know. I don't know very much about Soden.
I
I
don't
never
know.
really looked into him.
I don't know that all that much about him, but all I do know about him is back in the day, there were very few people that could pull off or had the business know-how of
Well,
being able to construct what they managed to do in terms of Graceland. Whether he's still that powerful today, I don't know. Are there people out there that have possibly greater powers and better knowledge than he had
mhm.
or that he has? I would say most definitely. But back in 1981, I don't think there were very few people.
Yeah, Winterhawk. This is my opinion on that. I don't think she will. It's based upon what it says in the documents that first of all, there's not. It's not right at this present time. It's not zoned for another body to be there. Second of all, in the documents, it states Riley states that that she'll be buried there to the best of her authority or something like that.
Yeah,
In other
she.
words, she has no control over what the zoning will be, and that
she,
Lisa,
she
when Priscilla passes away, do I think that Riley's going to go after the zoning to have her buried there? I don't think so.
no.
I don't
Uh,
think so. Where the hell would you put her? Seriously, if you've been there, there's not a whole lot of room to put another body, unless
no, right.
And she originally she wanted to be as close to Elvis as she could get. Well, why?
Yeah, and Navarone could possibly fight, but what pull is he going to have? He's not going to have any
No,
pull. I mean,
Navarrone's not going to fight for it. He doesn't have he doesn't have a say in it whatsoever. He's not a Presley. He has no say in it whatsoever.
Riley said she will allow it to the best of her legal ability.
There you go, and that's it. And then Navarone can't fight the zoning.
No.
She can't fight the zoning.
Oh my God, Lori, what they gonna do if they cremate her? What they gonna do? They gonna make candles?
The other thing is she's not a Presley.
No.
Everybody there has Presley blood in them. She doesn't have Presley blood in them. She's not a Presley. She's taken. This is gonna get me off on another subject because the recent stuff that's been going on with Donna Presley just irks the shit out of me. I still ask the question: what would be the purpose to change your name to Presley when it was never Presley?
I'll be right back.
I just don't. I don't get that one. Anyways, that's another subject, another day. I'm going to play this video it's something out of the book that's brought up, and Kyle put one of his videos together. It's really good. It's about the hitman, Priscilla Presley's hitman. Here we go.
Okay, so there's this bombshell claim that's just surfaced in an upcoming memoir from Priscilla Presley. She's saying that a rage-filled Elvis actually ordered a hit on her lover. It's a wild story that paints the king of rock and roll as a potential murderer. But does it actually hold up against the historical record? Today, we're going to dig into the evidence and set that record straight. So this is it. This is the heart of the whole thing. Priscilla is alleging that Elvis went to his right-hand man, Joe Esposito, and told him to find a hitman to take out her lover, Mike Stone. She says Elvis only gradually calmed down. I mean, that's a massive accusation, and it's where our investigation begins. All right, just so we're all on the same page here, let's be crystal clear about what Priscilla is now saying. The story is that an absolutely enraged Elvis tasked his road manager, Joe Esposito, with hiring a killer. This wasn't just a moment of heartache. According to her, this was a full-on plot for a cold-blooded murder. And that, right there, is the million-dollar question, isn't it? When a story like this pops up decades later, you have to go back to square one. You have to ask, what did the people who were actually in the room say at the time? So, where do we even start? Well, you've got to go to the people who were literally by Elvis's side through all of this. His bodyguards. We're going to look at the explosive tell-all book written by his cousins and lifelong friends, Red and Sonny West. Their account is the very first time this story ever went public. And this book, Elvis, What Happened, is a huge deal. It came out in 1977, the same year Elvis died. This gives us the original raw account of what happened, long before anyone else had a version of the story. This is our ground zero. According to their book, Elvis, in a total fit of rage, turns directly to his bodyguard Sonny and says, "Kill the son of a bitch, Sonny." It's just a raw, emotional, desperate outburst. But pay close attention to who he's talking to, Sonny West. And it didn't stop there. He then turns to his other bodyguard, Red West, and says the same thing all over again. "I want the son of a bitch dead." The pattern here is really clear. Elvis is unloading all of this anger onto Red and Sonny West. But here's the kicker. This is what Red West himself says about it. He admits he heard Elvis loud and clear, but he basically dismisses it right away. He says he listened like a damn fool and then flat out says, "But I didn't do it." He obviously saw it for what it was, an emotional breakdown, not a real order. And this is absolutely crucial. The one thing you need to take away from the original story is that the people who heard these words come out of Elvis's mouth were Red and Sonny West. Joe Esposito, his name is nowhere to be found in their account. And that is the first major red flag in Priscilla's new story. All right, so that's one source, and it's a really powerful one. But, you know, in any good investigation, you can't just rely on one story. You need to see if it's backed up. So do other historical accounts, the biographies written over the decades, do they support what the Westland said way back in 77? Let's find out. So now we're going to bring in some other heavy hitters. People from his inner circle, the so-called Memphis Mafia, and also the most respected Elvis biographer out there. These folks documented this event over the years, and what they have to say is vital for figuring out what really happened. First up, Peter Gorelick's book, Careless Love. I mean, if you know anything about Elvis biographies, you know this is considered the definitive one. Gorelick had incredible access. So what does his account say? And what does Gorelick say? Well, his account lines up perfectly. He confirms Elvis told Red West to take care of him. And he adds that really important context, that Elvis was talked down and gradually calms down. This frames it not as some secret plot, but as a moment of extreme passion that was quickly brought back down to earth. Okay, so let's add another layer. We've got this book, Revelations of the Memphis Mafia. This has direct testimony from other guys in Elvis's crew, people like Marty Lacker and Lamar Fike, who saw everything up close. What did they think about this whole incident? Marty Lacker, one of Elvis's closest friends, he doesn't mince words. He's like, no way. Elvis would never have gone through with it. He was just letting off steam. The people who knew him best didn't see a would-be murderer. They saw a heartbroken guy having an emotional collapse. All right, we've looked at the evidence. We've heard from the eyewitnesses and the historians. Now it's time for the moment of truth. Let's put all of this side by side and directly compare Priscilla's new story with the record we've had for the last 50 years. I mean, just look at this. It couldn't be clearer. You look at the Who Was Asked column. Priscilla is the lone voice saying Joe Esposito. Every single other source points to Red West. And then you look at, was it a real plot? Again, she's the only one saying yes. Everyone else who was there agrees it was an emotional outburst that went nowhere. So, the verdict? It's a slam dunk. The historical record is rock solid on two key things. Elvis vented to Red West, not Joe Esposito, and it was exactly that, venting. It was never a serious plot. So this all leads to a much bigger question, right? If the story has been this clear for almost 50 years, why change it now? Let's unpack what it means to rewrite a story this established, this long after the fact. What does changing these details really do? Think about this timeline. For almost 50 years, the story was set in stone. You've got 1977 with the original account, then 1995 with the inner circle backing it up,
Yeah.
then 1999 with the definitive biography
Her and
cementing it,
Joe were
all
close.
saying the same thing. And then, bam. Decades later, a completely different version of the story appears out of nowhere. So, what's
Yes.
the big deal? Why does this even matter? Well, for one, it paints a much, much darker picture of Elvis than the people who were there ever described. It also conveniently shifts the story away from Red West, the guy who first exposed the affair in his book. It drags Joe Esposito into it, a man who always denied this and sadly isn't around to defend himself. And let's be honest, it creates a sensational headline that helps sell books. And really, that's
I
what this
agree,
all
Tracy.
boils down to.
Yep.
You're taking a moment of raw human grief, a man in incredible pain lashing out, and twisting it into a cold, calculated murder for hire plot. And that just fundamentally damages the truth of a person's legacy. And that's the question we're left with, isn't it? After half a century of a consistent historical record built on the testimony of the people who were actually there, why rewrite it now? It really makes you think about memory, about why we tell the stories we do,
Yeah.
and about the very powerful and often complicated business of legacy.
I agree with you 100%, Tracy. I also heard that. And if you think about it now, if it was only purely the loss of of Priscilla, Elvis wouldn't have gone that far.
Yeah.
The only way to have got him that mad would have been if Lisa was somehow dragged into it, which I today look back and think that was Elvis's perception, and that was probably what was happening behind the scenes. Uh, Lisa was being used as a pawn, possibly for some more financial gain from Priscilla's
Yeah,
from
everything,
Priscilla's from Priscilla's side, because I don't know, at that point in time the lien on Graceland hadn't been put in place, and that's possibly another avenue that somebody either suggested to her or that she came up with by herself, but somewhere somehow somebody placed the idea, well, okay, if Elvis is not gonna bend, make him bend, and the only way he's gonna bend is throw Lisa in there, threaten his visitation with Lisa. And I think to this day that is the only plausible way that Elvis would have gone off his rocker. If it was a case of Priscilla had just left him for Mike Stone or whatever, yes, he did take a knock by it. His ego would have been damaged. He would have been felt emotionally betrayed. But Elvis was the kind of guy, he would have gotten over it very quickly. I think the only thing that pushed him to that point of uttering the words, "I want the SOB dead," was they dragged Lisa into it unfairly.
Yeah. All right. So I've got a breakdown on kind of a narrative of the book. Kyle put this together. It's kind of a more of a condensed version of the deep one that I did, and it just makes it so much easier to cover. It's all the same points, but he has it in a nice synopsis. So I'm going to share that with you guys right now.
Has anybody ever spoken to Mike Stone about it? Does anybody know?
Tracy said she's going to find the Stone interview. She says she put it up on Discord.
Ah,
So hopefully, let's see.
because we always get the side from what Elvis said regarding that situation, but I've never heard Mike Stone talk about it.
Yeah, evidently he said something along the line.
Because he must know about it by now.
Yeah, I would think so. 50 years later.
Well, then again, with Priscilla in the page, you never know.
Yeah. All right. So what he's done a comparison between Elvis, Me, and Softly as I Leave You, and then Lisa's book. So we've got kind of a detailed comparison of their narratives and explore how Priscilla's story has evolved. So let me get over here so I can scroll the pages. So based on the two memoirs of her and then Lisa's book, this is what we're going to do. Priscilla's two memoirs reveal a significant evolution in her perspective over 4 decades. Her first book, Elvis and Me, written shortly after Elvis's death, offers a romanticized, protective account of their life together. In contrast, the new one, Softly as I Leave You, provides a more candid and expansive view, incorporating the complexities of her life after Elvis and reflecting on a broader range of personal, experiences. Hold on one second. I don't know. Freaking coffee. So when she talks about the relationship with Elvis in 1985 with the book, it portrays Priscilla as a devoted and often naive teenager molded into Elvis's ideal woman. She presents their initial relationship as a platonic friendship, where Elvis was a homesick soldier grieving his mother. Their physical relationship, she writes, was not consummated until their wedding night, as Elvis believed in saving himself for marriage. In her new book, she offers a more nuanced view of her youth, placing the age gap within the context of the era, noting that she embraced her role as a submissive wife to a Southern man. She reveals that Elvis's interest in her sexually waned after the birth of their daughter, Lisa Marie, because he had never been able to make love to a woman who'd had a child, which is the biggest load of
Bullshit.
shit. She
Just
also
like,
discloses a major detail not present in her first book, her own affair with her karate instructor, Mike Stone, but she never, in the book that I caught, brought up about what was his name, Steve Peck?
yes, I was going to mention that too. Maybe that's why Elvis was never interested because he knew
Yeah.
where the chickens were going home to roost. And another thing that she said in the interview that just infuriated me was Elvis didn't really like children. He didn't really like being around children.
Yeah.
Really, you just look at his interaction with Lisa. Okay, let's take Lisa out the picture, right? Because that's biased. Go look on YouTube and look for that 17-minute video clip when he arrives in Hawaii.
I'm
When
sorry.
he's
I
when,
can't see the comments. I can't help but laugh. I'm sorry.
no problem. When he's greeting the fans behind the fence at the helipad, watch his reaction when he
Yeah.
goes to greet the little kids
Oh,
on their
yeah.
father's show and he didn't like children. Yeah, right.
Even Charlie, look at what even Jerry Schilling counter, d- refuted that point.
Yeah, Jerry said it was one of, and all the guys, even the shit starters in the group, we all know who they are.
Yeah.
But even Joe said it himself. He said the day he held Lisa in his arms for the first time, and every day after that, to see the two of them in the same room together,
Yeah.
playing and joking around, Elvis became like a little kid.
Yeah.
It was the happiest they ever saw him was when Lisa was at Graceland to
Well, she
spend time
talks
with him.
about it in that interview, the book tour, where she's saying that he just was it that one where she mentions that he just he wasn't good around kids. So now she talks about infidelity and just jealousy. In 1985, in the book, she describes a constant state of worry over Elvis's relationship with other women. Well, hello, who did you marry? She recounts her explosive temper tantrum over rumors involving Anne Margaret, which led her to smash a flower vase. She felt it was her survival to not ask too many questions. Who has a violent temper? Now, 2025, the new memoir explicitly connects her feelings of inadequacy and fear to discovering letters from other women to Elvis. She admits that her affair with Mike Stone was triggered by this discovery, acting as a catalyst for her departure, not the root cause. Yet, no mention of Steve Peck.
And the letters that she's referring to, and we can go back to
Yeah, palm friends. Yeah.
Elvis by the Presley's, the film. I'll even tell you guys, she's sitting with her own sister, Michelle. and they recounting the story. They recounting the story of in Palm Springs when the letters were sent, and the letters were supposedly signed Lizard Tongue. Those are the letters that she's referring to, and that's as far back as 1970, August of 1970.
Jeez. Hold on a second. I gotta.
But that's how this woman puts her shit together. Is that, I'm sorry, and I'm gonna call out what it is. She forgets. She thinks we as fans are stupid, that we can't figure out, that we don't remember certain things were said at certain times. And every time it's like the picture that comes to my mind. She's cooking a story. She takes a spice from here, and she takes a spice from there, and she takes an ingredient from here, and she puts it into there, and she takes an ingredient from there, and she all throws it into this little pot that she's now called Softly as I Leave You. And the whiff from the pot is glorious, but once you start dishing out the food that's cooking in there, the people around start tasting, but hang on, this is supposedly the same recipe that was made years ago, but now it's completely different. Please explain. And now she's running out of avenues to explain because she can't remember what shit she spoke when to who about who.
I don't know where I'm getting a hum at, but anyway.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Kyle. She ain't going anywhere softly. In actual fact, she's uh she's got so much air going up her that she's blowing like a trumpet.
Yeah. All right. So here we are. We're at Elvis's drug use.
Oh, this should be interesting.
So in Elvis-A-Z, while the first memoir mentions Elvis's use for pills and insomnia and energy, it largely presents this as a manageable and even normal part of their life. She portrays him as an expert on the pills, consulting his medical dictionary to ensure they were safe. She also mentions that Elvis would give her some of the pills to help her keep up with his late night lifestyle. But in the new book, she offers a much more direct and critical view. Priscilla describes Elvis's drug problem as starting much earlier than his army stint, attributing to origins of him taking pills from his mother, Gladys. She discusses the staggering amount of prescription drugs he took, explicitly linking his mood swings and outbursts to a cocktail of drugs. She also describes the doctors who gave him anything he wanted and enabled his addiction. Now, so we've covered what, three different topics so far, and none of them are after she left.
Now,
So
and where
this
the
is going to
hell?
be what her life was after Elvis.
And Elvis didn't start taking pills until he got to Germany. He said it himself.
Yep.
So where the hell was he taking pills from his mama? And she knew this how? With her ass being in Germany, he was in
Hello, Danny.
Memphis. Hi, Danny. He never started taking pill. He never took a pill from his mama. He said it himself. He started taking Dexedrine on maneuvers. He said it himself.
Yeah, Kyle, you're right. She talks about Gladys being hospitalized for depression. Okay, so here's Lisa's perspective. In her book, she provides a new one. Well, let's get to this point here. We'll get to that point. Let's finish off these comments here where we're at. Got quite a few there. We got these things coming right through. Hey, cat girl. Cam, it could not have been there using Lisa as leverage that made Elvis go ballistic because that happened as soon as Priscilla left him, not after she was living with Mike Stone. I don't know what that means.
No, when exactly it happened or didn't happen is irrelevant. The point I was trying to make is this: Lisa was used as a pawn on more than one occasion.
The only people that could challenge her are Billy and Joe, and doubt they want to.
Yeah, they done with her.
Yeah, Billy and Joe, yeah, they don't want to. They don't want to get involved. I don't blame them either.
No, I wouldn't want to get involved in that shitstorm myself.
All right, so Lisa Marie's perspective on her parenting. Lisa Marie's view. Lisa Marie's memoir, edited by her daughter Riley Keough, portrays Priscilla as a strict and often chilly mother who imposed rules and schedules that Lisa Marie resented. She calls she recalls feeling like a trophy to her mother, who was obsessed with how things looked. She describes her mother as being gone a lot on trips with other men, leaving her in the care of nannies and staff. Priscilla's response to that point in the book Newmar acknowledges a good cop, bad cop parenting dynamic, with her as the disciplinarian and Elvis as the indulgent parent. She defends her strictness by stating it came from a place of love and desire to provide a stable upbringing for her daughter. She also admits that Lisa Marie's accusations that she was dumping her at Scientology was difficult to hear, but that she believed it was a safer environment for her daughter. Yeah, let's put her in a cult. That's a safe environment, isn't it? Brilliant.
Yeah, I'm gonna make reference to this because I've known people that have gone through this, and the fact that it's a cult is irrelevant. The point at hand being they'll put their children or their loved one wherever they need to be, as long as they're not under the same roof, as long as they're not their responsibility, whether it goes to a cult or to another family member or to a friend or whatever. That's just a that's just an extra that's just an extra ribbon on the cake. But the objective is to get the person out from underneath you so that you don't have any form of responsibility with regard to that person.
Yeah. Yeah, we addressed that earlier, Cat Girl, about Mike Stone. We talked about that earlier. Um, trying to catch up with some other comments here. What do we got here?
Yeah, she put
Controlling her at the
Lisa.
Scientology school because she didn't want or know how to deal with her. Yeah, true.
True.
Yeah, and within a few weeks of Elvis's death, she put Lisa in a boarding school.
Yes.
Let's put her in the cult, which Elvis, he wasn't a fan of Scientology.
Yes, and possibly one of the reasons why she was sent to Scientology also could be a what's the word I'm looking for? A posthumous fu to Elvis. Like, okay, you didn't want her to have anything to do with this while you were around. You're not here anymore. What you gonna do now? That's a posthumous. That's a posthumous 11th finger right there, I would say.
What what parent would take their daughter whose father just died, and you know that she's just emotional, and throw her in a camp somewhere?
Cat girl, I'm not generalizing. I said I know people, close people that I lived with, that I grew up with. So I make a statement from whence I came. If I'm generalizing, I will say this is a general statement. But the statement I made was I had people in my life that I grew up with closely, which gave me the relevance to know the statement that I put out there. I grew up with those kind of people in my life. So I also, if it was a general statement, I would have said it's a general statement.
Yeah, yeah. It's I'm I'm not gonna. I don't sit here and say it happened in all. in all nanny situations, but
No.
you can't sit here and say it doesn't happen in nanny situations. You know, it's just anyway. Um,
Yes, true. That's 100%. I mean, Priscilla told Lisa that herself. Priscilla never wanted to be a mother, and Lisa suffered, unfortunately, for it.
yeah,
Because, I mean, my opinion is what mother is going to tell her child in any way, shape, or form that she tried to throw herself off a horse so that she would miscarry?
yeah.
I mean, the mere fact that you even verbalize that kind of thing to your child, you got to screw loose. I'm sorry.
I think all of what Prissy has been doing over the years is a big fuck you to Elvis.
Yes.
Yep. So on the Michael Edwards affair, Lisa's view. Lisa Marie's memoir details a long and disturbing period in her childhood with her mother's boyfriend, Michael Edwards. She accuses him of sexually abusing her, recounting incidents where he would touch her inappropriately and spank her, leaving her with a black, blue, orange, green bruised bottom. She also recalls her mother and Edward's relationship as being volatile and violent, with her mother screaming and Edwards throwing shit. Priscilla's response. Priscilla's new memoir acknowledges her relationship with Edwards and portrays him as a dramatic guy with a horrible temper and often on drugs. She admits that she and Edwards had a physical relationship, but she refutes Lisa Marie's claim of sexual molestation, stating that she only learned of it after her daughter's passing. Bullshit.
Bullshit. My question is this: why would Lisa lie?
She had no reason to
Especially,
lie, and just
especially with something like that.
in interviews that I've seen of her over the years, she's brutally honest.
Yes.
You know, when she talks about Michael Jackson, when she talks about her marriages, when she talks about anything that's brought up, they would ask her about the drug usage, she was straightforward. I mean, she may have presented it in more of a conservative way.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at your statements. I'm
Or,
laughing at what Kyle says. And Kyle, if you don't mind, I think I'm going to steal your name for all future reference. He's no longer known as Neverone. He's now known as Provolone.
that's good. I like that.
Yeah, Kyle, you're probably right. You're probably right because Lisa would have had different responsibilities.
Yeah, you're right, Kat. I saw that interview, and you know what? You're right too. That's the coldest thing I'd ever heard of her sitting right after. That's what I was trying to say earlier. Who does that? I can't imagine doing. Okay, if say my kids were 8, 9 years old when they were 8, 9 years old, and my wife passed away, am I going to ship them off somewhere to get them out of my hair because I don't have the ability to take care of them? I don't think so.
Step up to the plate and learn.
Yeah, if listen, I'm the type of person if I would have had to, I would have gone to my job and said, you know, I either need to change up my schedule where I can spend the time with my kids under the situation, or I need to go find another job. That's all it would have been.
Or go
That's just brutal.
or enroll in a parental course or whatever and learn if you don't know. I accept there's no parent out there that gets issued with a parental handbook the day their children are born, but you learn on the fly. Why didn't she learn prior to Elvis's passing? Because plain and simply she didn't need to, because she knew that Lisa wanted to spend most of her time with Elvis. She knew that Elvis would have Lisa as often as he possibly could. And she would be just too grateful to send Lisa to Elvis and let the two of them spend time together, because that created the space and time for her to be able to do whatever the hell she wanted
Yeah.
without having the added responsibility of having to take care of Lisa at the same time.
Winterhawk. That's what we. Thank you for that point, because that's why we set the guidelines for a chat on this, because you're right. I've seen some other channels, other discussions of the book and all this, and that just gets really downright nasty and in between people. And it's nice to be able to sit here and have a discussion. And we're not going to agree on everything. It's not going
Yeah,
to,
no,
it will never be, but I'm going to respect your opinion. And I'm going
no,
to, and then I'll end it on saying we'll just have to agree to disagree. I don't expect everybody to believe what I believe and go with it. So that's why I have fun doing these, because there are so many different opinions. So thank you, Winterhawk. I appreciate that.
I
It's
agree
really appreciate.
100. I agree 100% with Nadia's that Lisa wanted to go to Graceland after
Yep.
Elvis passed, and unfortunately, Lisa didn't have the relationship with Vernon
Mm-mm.
that I believed in her heart she possibly wanted. Because had she had that kind of close relationship with Vernon, it possibly would have made her process of grieving the loss of her father a lot easier.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and, and,
Priscilla would
and
hold Grayson over Lisa's head as punishment.
yes, and I believe to this day that uh, that's, if not the greatest reason it contributed to. That's why Lisa lived the life that she lived, because
Yeah.
she was never effectively allowed to
Margaret.
to to grieve her father in a healthy way.
Guys, I'm away. My painkillers are kicking in, and I could be liable to say anything. And I ain't giving you any ammo to take the piss. To talk the piss out.
Oh, come on, Max. We all know you don't need pills to give you leeway to say what you need to say. But
All right, Matt.
anyway,
Listen, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for hanging with us. Get
thanks
some
for
rest,
joining
get
us.
some sleep, and share some of those painkillers next time.
Yeah, make sure you pull out the pink kite to fly, Max, not the yellow one, because the yellow one has a hole in. Make sure it's the pink one.
So I disagree. Kidding. So, all right, let's continue with the book, The Presley Legacy. So, let me get rid of that comment. Damn it. Okay. All right, The Presley Legacy. So, Lisa Marie's view. Lisa Marie's memoir shows her struggling with her identity as Elvis Presley's daughter. She talks about her immense pride in her father, but also the burden of living up to his legacy. She also claims that she was a pint-sized tyrant who would threaten to fire her father's staff if they didn't give her what she wanted. Priscilla's response. In her new book, Priscilla provides new tales about Lisa Marie's life and her relationship with the Presley legacy. She reveals, I hate it when she reveals that she was
Yeah.
devastated when Lisa Marie sold 85% of her inheritance. Well, I wonder why she would have been devastated.
If she hadn't been swindled out of all those millions of money, if her mama hadn't been stealing $900,000 a year for doing absolutely jack shit for over X amount of years, Lisa wouldn't have had the necessity to sell the 85% to make up the money that had been stolen from her.
Wait, now, did she? Did I miss it? Did she say she also sold Graceland? She didn't sell Graceland.
No, she sold
She owned the
80%
physical,
of.
everything physical,
Yes, she sold 85% of the business
right?
side of it.
Of the intangible stuff,
Yes.
the rights, the music rights, all that kind of stuff.
Yes, but the physical
Yeah,
assets, Lisa always
I
made sure to hold on to that. But why? But then again, I mean, you and I know from a music perspective, even selling the rights and the what do you call the royalty side of it, that's a
yeah.
big chunk of money. But she wouldn't have had to do that if she wasn't being swindled out of close on to $1 million over how many years did it happen?
Mm.
I mean, by the time it became known, I think there was something ridiculous of only 15% of her total inheritance was left by the time Lisa came to know about all the shit that was all the money that was being stolen and paid to her mother on a monthly basis for so-called services rendered to EPE.
She says she also states that she and her family felt gutted to lose control of the Elvis legacy. She felt gutted because she saw her her windfall slipping away. I think the new
Yeah.
memoir, along with her daughter's posthumous book and her interviews, offers a far more complex and complete portrait of Priscilla Presley. See, not just Elvis's wife, but a mother, grandmother, but that's ex-wife, but a mother and grandmother, a businesswoman, and a woman who has navigated immense joy, pain, and loss, often in the public eye. I can help you analyze then, because that's here's a breakdown of the key points. So the start of her relationship with Elvis. So in her book in 1985, Priscilla stated that Elvis was initially dismissive of her age, calling her just a baby. She claimed she was a shy, pretty little girl who was unhappily accustomed to moving. She also said their relationship in Germany was non-sexual, describing him as a gentleman who promised to treat her just like a okay. She okay. Let's get now. Doesn't she discuss in her first book that they did kiss and all that?
Yes.
Okay, but he treated her like a sister. She wrote that he never touched me sexually and waited until after they were married to have sex and take a deep breath.
Yeah, Tracy, I agree with you 100%. That's why the only reason why she was gutted, because Lisa took the keys out of her hand. Lisa said to her, "No, no, no, no. You think you're the one driving this car here? I'm the one driving, and I'll prove it to you."
So in the new book, she contextualized the age gap within the historical and cultural framework, citing figures like Rhett Butler and Edgar Allan Poe. Okay. She also stated that although their relationship started when she was 14, it didn't become a romantic relationship until I was 17. She claimed to have embraced the social norms of the 1960s, eagerly adopting his vision for her style and appearance because she wanted to please my man. She admits in her new book to being a little more assertive than in her first telling, saying that she went head over heels into the relationship and felt like the proverbial bird in a gilded cage. I hate that comment. And this is also where her narrative clashes with Lisa Marie's account.
Again.
In Lisa Marie's memoir, she describes her mother as a young, glamorous woman who was knocked out during labor and woke up to a baby. Lisa Marie also recounts her mother confessing that she had thought about trying to fall off her horse to cause a miscarriage because she didn't want to gain pregnancy weight. She felt her mother had a chilly disposition and was more concerned with how things looked than with her feelings. And I believe every bit of that.
What? Yes,
And
and
what
it's
mother
so.
would say that to any child of theirs ever in their life?
Yes, and she's still, God rest her soul, she's still trying to do that, Lisa. It's all about her image. She doesn't give a shit about people's feelings. It's all about her. Bird in a gilded cage, yes, and a cage that she put herself into willingly because she was calculating enough. She knew right at the beginning of the race where it was going to end up, and she made sure that she knew from day one. She knew if I can get in here, I'm set for life. And
Okay,
boy, oh boy.
we're about a quarter of the way through this thing, so we're going to go a little bit further, and then we'll probably continue another day with the rest of this because we can go on. We've already been at almost 2 hours. Elvis's drug use and his public image. You know what gets me is so far everything we've talked about is during her life with Elvis. But the book was sold as her life after Elvis, which I found not
Yes.
so much about in the book, but then
No.
just a whole rebuttal to Lisa Marie's book.
Yes. And there's another good talking point here. I don't go on this quote much, but yes, I agree with Cal. And I think she kind of knew that. She knew that Lisa would be buried at Graceland, or she at least knew of Lisa's intention to be buried at Graceland. And I think that's the only reason why she wants to be buried at Graceland now, even more so than prior.
Yeah, you're right. Right, Kyle. Her life after Elvis wouldn't sell. No one
Because
cares about it.
because let's put it this way. Let's say, for argument's sake, she chooses not to be buried at Graceland now. People are going to go, okay, but why? Your daughter's there, your grandson is there. Uh, why now, when previously in all books and in all television related material you fought? Why don't you want to be buried there now? Why wouldn't you want to be with your daughter? So, in that instance, if she were to come out and say no, that she doesn't want to, uh, she's gonna out herself in terms of being a calculating person.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, she has to run with the narrative. So, even for whatever reason she were to decide that she doesn't want to be buried there, she unfortunately now has to run with the narrative.
Yeah.
Because if she'll do herself more damage by backing out of it now than just continuing it. And that's unfortunately her whole life, basically. She climbed into the boat and she started going into a direction. And she knows now, unfortunately, that she can't turn around and make it right, because if she does that, she destroys everything that she's been so hard at work creating for the last 50 years.
Yeah, that's a I gotta get this back on. I get it back over here. So Natalie, she wants to take the focus off of him in a meditation garden at the closest possible spot. Well, I don't think that would ever happen. She thinks more of
No
herself
hell.
than than Tracy. Also, too, why did this? I love this comment. This is. I thought the same thing when I was reading the book. Why did she name so many chapters from Elvis song titles? She did. She couldn't. She didn't. She was not creative enough. The book reads like a 14-year-old wrote the book. It really
Yeah.
does. And then, of things of all things, and I said this earlier. If you listen to it with the audiobook, it's her talking. It's her voice.
Oh
And
my
she's got
God.
every once in a while she'll give out that little laugh, that stupid fake laugh. Yeah, and I had to listen to it at 1.5 speed, and it's even worse with the little laughs. I should have made a little clip of it. I'll do that when we finish the second half. And Kyle, this is excellent. This is an excellent review. This is an excellent recap. I'm enjoying this. It's really covering the book really good. Okay, so Elvis's drug use and his public image. Her co-writer is a second-rate hack. So Priscilla's framing of Elvis's drug use has become more critical over time, moving from a position of defense to one of the acknowledgement of its negative effects. In 1985, she presented Elvis's pill use as a practical necessity for his demanding schedule and a way to deal with his insomnia and depression. She also emphasized that Elvis was well informed about his medications, seeing them as a different from illegal street drugs. She even admitted to taking pills herself. 25, she is more blunt, describing his drug use as an addiction that began with him taking pills from his mother. She explicitly links his paranoia and outbursts of rage to a cocktail of drugs and condemns the unscrupulous doctors who enabled him by giving him anything he wanted.
Okay, so here's a question. Given what we know now with regard to Elvis's medical history, right, and given the times that they lived in, many of his ailments were not even known about, let alone treatable,
Right.
right? And does that not happen even to this day? That if you give a doctor a certain set of symptoms, if a doctor doesn't know or the blood work hasn't been done and it can be precisely without a doubt confirmed that you're suffering with A or B or C, what does every single doctor do? They take one medication and they prescribe it to you in the hope that it's going to help. If that medication doesn't work, then they go on to the next medication until they find something that does work, right or wrong. Secondly, the interaction of medications do have tangible results in terms of a person's moods, appetite, everything else that goes with it. Because why? You are no longer just prescribing medications, you are now changing the body's chemical structure. And when you change the body's chemical structure, certain things are going to happen. Even either you're going to become aggressive, you're going to become docile, you're going to put on weight, you're going to lose appetite, you're going to have a tendency to this, you're going to have a tendency to that. I myself suffered with it. I took antidepressant medication only to find out 3 months after being on the medication that I was allergic to the active ingredients in that medication. And that medication and that allergy caused me to be highly aggressive, more so than I was comfortable with being. And the moment I took myself off that medication, I went back to normal. So who's to say that many of these medications that Elvis was being prescribed in trying to help him deal with medical conditions that were not even known at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Who's to say that a lot of those emotional outbursts, we read it all the time. We read it all the time. He'd have a violent outburst and he'd feel worse than dog shit afterwards. Why? That screams chemical imbalance. Can he be held accountable for that and say that it's 100% his fault? No, he cannot, because it's a chemical imbalance. And you want to tell me that she didn't know about his medical situation? Yes, possibly some of the more personal things he didn't want to share with her because he
Right.
himself didn't understand them or felt embarrassed by them. That's fair enough. But you want to tell me that she lived how many years of her life with him and she knew absolutely nothing about his medical status? And she blames everything, all his medications, she writes off to addiction? No, that's a little bit unfair.
Yeah.
Are those medications, most of those medications he was taking at the time, unfortunately, do have a tendency to create addictive personalities and addictive behaviors. A lot of those medications that we take today still have the same qualities, but fortunately, through the development of medical knowledge and technology, other drugs are available now. Back in the day, many of the conditions he suffered with, they didn't have alternatives to Valiums. They didn't have alternatives to Quaaludes. They didn't have alternatives to Placidos.
Right.
That's all they had. And knowing what he battled with, can you imagine, just for example, the immense amount of stomach ache that he would have? I mean, we all have an idea of having a stomach ache, but ramp it up by a million. And then to say that it's being unfair that he's taking certain pain medication, I take my hat off to the guy. He dealt with some medical instances that I think were excruciatingly painful.
Mm.
And for him to still be able to get up every day, do what he did, and still have a smile on his face most of the time, and then people want to stone him for the odd occasion where he'd lose his shit.
Yeah.
That's very unfair.
Yeah, I'm gonna catch up on a couple comments here. Yeah, I remember that. You know, I remember her making a comment that she never expected to be buried at Graceland. I don't know what all of a sudden. I'm looking at the time frame between 2019 and when Lisa died. What 23? What changed it? What changed it was Lisa Marie dying. I think. Let's see. Excuse me. Just those comments on Mike Edwards makes my blood boil. Yeah. She didn't know. Was it true that he did have a head injury? He had fallen during one of the movies.
I think it was late 66.
Yeah, he'd fallen. I can't remember the movie, but he'd fallen and banged his head pretty bad. His
He has a
falling would have been absolute. Yeah, that's true.
agony. Yes. I mean,
If you read Dr. Tennant's book, you'll learn that the TBI was the catalyst for his later medical problems and especially his mood changes. This is a typical of TBI. Its effects happen years later. There's a lot of things that, it's just like that. Yeah, clam bake. That was it. Just before clam bake. I had a friend that well, it was a friend of somebody I knew. They were old enough to be my parent, but he had a head injury in an automobile accident, and he was in the hospital for a while, and then he went home. Everything's fine. He's working, and 2 or 3 years go by, and he's taking a shower and dies right in the middle of the shower. And they said it was all due to that head injury 3 years earlier. He had an aneurysm.
Developed an aneurysm.
Yep, and he was just showering, and they said he never even knew what happened. He just went. That's why when I've banged my head many times. Whoa. I think it's caused more than aneurysm. It's caused my stupidity.
Same here. Same here.
Yeah.
I often crack the joke. I always used to say to people, the day that I'm laying there on the slab, they're gonna have to get a whole truckload of blades to cut my skull open, because the amount of times I've bashed my head open over the years, I think my skull is about 15 miles thick.
Yeah, they attribute what was his name, Aaron Hernandez from the Patriots, who killed those guys. They attribute it to all the head injuries that he had. That it just changed his whole demeanor and made him a murderer, or and he got to look at what happened to Muhammad Ali after he developed Parkinson's, and they think a lot of it was attributed from the head poundings. That man sit there and surprised. Of course, I know he really wasn't hit, but when you think about Elvis and Kid Galahad, when the guy just beating him to a pulp, it's a good movie. All right, let's go a little bit further, and we're going to cut it. I think what I'm going to do is, because we're at 2 hours now, and I really don't want to go. It starts dragging out because we still got quite a bit left in this recap. So I do want to continue it, and so I think we got a busy weekend this weekend. So I think I want to do this at 5 o'clock on Monday. We'll finish this off. So I don't know what your schedule's like, Cam.
Yeah, for now it's okay.
Yeah, so we'll just finish it off, but let's get through the Michael Edwards incident. We'll come to a stopping point, and then but I want to recap a little bit here afterwards. We're not going to just breathe. So this is what we got. Let me see where. All right, so this is one of the most significant points of contradiction between the two memoirs, as Priscilla and Lisa's accounts of her relationship with Michael Edwards are starkly different. In Priscilla's 2025, she acknowledges her relationship with Michael Edwards, but claims she was unaware of his sexual obsession with Lisa Marie until after her daughter's death. She recalls an instant where Lisa Marie told her that Edwards had come into her room the night before while he thought she was asleep. and had pulled back the covers to look at her in the nightgown. Priscilla states that she confronted him and he claimed that he was just tucking her in. I almost thought that said F. She writes that she later found out that he had written a book in which he openly admitted that he had sexual obsession with Lisa since she was 12 years old. Okay, so let me
Right,
get this straight. She says
right
she
there, she
he
contradicts.
writes the book before she dies,
Yes,
but yet she
right,
says she doesn't know about it till after her death.
right there's a contradiction. This woman's so damn far gone, she don't even remember what she lied with. Her
So
memory, I mean, that just goes to show right
yeah.
there. She has this. I'm gonna start calling her 10-second Mike. You know, from the movie 51st Dates,
Oh yeah.
10-second Mike, because she had any sentence longer than 10 seconds, she forgets. I mean, there's a contra. And how long did it take you to read that little paragraph? How long did it take you to read
Like
that? And she
15
contradicts
seconds,
herself.
10, 15 seconds.
Yeah, she contradicts herself twice in that paragraph.
So in Lisa's memoir, a much more harrowing story emerges. She alleges that Edwards molested her for years, and that she told my mom in the car the next day after an incident. Lisa Marie describes Edwards' abuse as a form of manipulation, where he would touch me and spank me, telling me not to look. She also claims her mother would never allow herself to lose control, and would instead try to make Edwards apologize for his actions, rather than confront the issue directly. So this is where we're going to stop. But this point right here, this whole thing right here with Michael Edwards, this just proves right here and there. This is the crux of the book. It's this part, and it's the accusations about it's about her book. She's refuting almost everything that Lisa had to say in the book. Now, is she stupid enough to believe that her fame, I don't know what the word is, but if she thinks that she holds a higher guild than Lisa Marie does, she's sadly mistaken. Lisa Marie is a Presley. Priscilla is not. Lisa Marie is a Presley. Priscilla is not. And who do you think they're going to believe? What are the real Elvis Presley fans going to believe? And when I see Rayo, the ones who follow this bitch and believe what she has to say are not Elvis fans. Because this woman has done more damage to this man's legacy than anybody that walks the face of this earth, period. That's my humble opinion.
Okay, but here's another shocker for you.
Should I hold on to my giblets?
Bring it even closer. Doesn't that in itself uh, show so much of her personality? Because right to the end of it, she's proving yet again by what do I always say? It's not by what you say, it's what you don't say that speaks louder.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Right down to the end of it,
Yep.
she is still outing herself and showing that she absolutely gave no two shits about her own flesh and blood. It's all about her and
Hmm.
how she is perceived and how she will continue to be deceived or perceived. Because, in my estimation, what kind of a human being are you? Never even take out the word parent. What kind of a human being are you if somebody comes to you with those kind of accusations in brackets for any child, even if I didn't know the child from a bar of soap? If a child comes to me as an adult and makes those accusations towards somebody else that is in my life permanently, and I do not investigate or turn up seven kinds of hell trying to find out the truth and trying to show the child that I am there no matter what happens. I have got the child's back in this accusation. If you make no effort whatsoever to protect that child, even if it does come out later to be speculatory or a flat out lie, the mere fact that you do not step up to that child's defense, and in this case, her own flesh and blood, but you will do anything to protect yourself and your relationship with that person, I'm sorry, you don't even deserve to breathe air. And this is not because she is who she says she is or who she says she is. This goes to any human being out there.
When you talk about the legacy of Elvis, let's just make a list. When I think of the legacy of Elvis, I think of music, I think of movies, I think of his humanitarianism, I think of his concerts, I think of just his laughing, his humor. Nowhere in that fucking list does Priscilla's name come on it. Nowhere. She had nothing to do with creating the legacy of Elvis. Absolutely nothing.
No,
And she's had nothing to do to protect it.
no.
She was a showgirl. She was a model swinging her arms around in front of the big old fancy cars. And that's all she was when she when she, to me, got together with Jack Soto and whoever it was that to start to do something about, starting. All she was the name for them to use.
Yeah,
And that's at a
yeah,
time, this is all at a time when you didn't have the internet and all that. And people were like, ooh, Priscilla's involved, because 80%, 90% of the Elvis fans didn't know the majority of this shit
no.
because it wasn't available out there. All they knew was her book that she hadn't even written yet at
Here
the
we go.
time they were trying to save Graceland. Save it. I don't think there was. I don't think it was ever in danger. It was a matter of how were they going to proceed with it.
Here's a let's take a quick 5 second here and time travel real quick.
Time travel.
Yes. Let's take ourselves out of this reality and quickly put ourselves into another reality. Can you guys imagine the shitstorm that would have been created on this little blue planet
It made
called
sense, Kirsty, to me.
that would have been created on this little planet called Earth?
Right.
Had Elvis been alive and this shit was going on with Lisa behind closed doors, and she had told her daddy about it,
Mm.
if you guys could think Elvis would have wanted to kill Mike Stone, oh my lord, there would have been no principality or power on this earth that would have kept Elvis from literally committing murder. Had he been alive and that bullshit had been going on, this earth would have been a too small place.
I
Just
totally agree.
imagine, just imagine that for a second. Had Elvis been alive and this shit had been going on, because I still to this day, and I always will, doesn't matter that it's Lisa, it can be any child. Any child comes with that kind of accusation or that kind of statement to me, there's fucking red lights going off.
I remember. I never really thought. I never really liked Priscilla, and it has to do with my dad. My dad would say to me, he said he never trusted the woman. He said of all the people that Elvis could have had, he said he married that, and that was his words. He married that. He
That,
said
yeah.
no. No, he said, my dad said, there's something more to this. And that's all he ever said about it. He just never believed that it was a legitimate a marriage. He always thought that. And see, my dad was Southern. My dad was raised in Tennessee. He was born the same year as Elvis was. My dad was born above Knox. He was born and lived above Knoxville, about 300 miles from Memphis. And so he was raised at that same time, and they had all the same, beliefs and all the same customs and all that. And he just felt that. And plus, too, with Elvis being who he was at that time, he just felt there was that all she was about was the money.
I get chills just thinking about it. I mean, you guys think that that rant on stage about him being strung out and wanting to rip that guy's tongue out by the root just for talking shit. I mean
That's a great.
that gives me goosebumps. Can you? Oh my God! If he had been
He should be
alive,
calling the pilot, say, "We're taking off. We're headed to L.A."
this guy would have had to go and live on another planet in another galaxy because this world would have been too small.
Yeah.
Elvis would have done the job himself.
Well, that's the thing. That's why I go back to the part about the Southern culture. I was raised in Los Angeles, okay? But I had a Southern father. My dad was proud to be called a hillbilly. He only went to 8th grade, but he had one of the most success. He'd been to every continent in the world. He'd been to over 200, over 100 countries with his company. He always flew first class. He had a great career. He made something of himself, but he had that Southern culture in him. I mean, I said it before. He has a strong Second Amendment, and he taught me the same thing. And but I also saw and heard the things my dad's. And I'll tell you a story that will give you the same impression of how Elvis reacted. So I was in junior high school. It was between 7th and 8th grade. All right. So between seventh, I was surprise, surprise. I was always been a smart ass. Okay. I've always said enough to be able to get the shit kicked out of me enough. I would push it just to the point where they would just at least hit me once or twice. And that's just the way I was. But I was a small guy between 7th and 8th grade. But anyway, in 7th grade, there was these guys. There were 3 or 4 of them, and they were picking on me, and they picked on me because I was a bookworm, and they didn't like bookworms. So they kept saying, you say, I can't remember what it was, but say, you say this, say you're sorry for this, and I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. So they all pinned me down, and they took their lit cigarettes and they started burning them into my chest. I still got the scars to this day. All right. So I'm 13 years old. So I go home, I'm teared up. I walk home, and my dad's sitting out in the street. We lived in a little cul-de-sac, and my dad's out. We had this 55 Chevy. He was out there working on it. He was rebuilding it and all that. And I walk up, he sees me, he goes, "What's up?" So I told him. I showed him. He walked in the house, and he got his 44 Magnum, and he put that thing in his belt, in his pocket. And he says, "Who were they?" So I told him. So we walked over to the house. It was right around on another street. You had to walk over this little ravine. Went over there, and he went over and he knocked on the door. And the guy answered the door. He says, "Is your son so and so?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I'm going to kill him." He says, "Next time he does what he did to my son, I'm going to kill him." And he had the gun in his hand. And I'm standing there. We're in Los Angeles, okay, of all places. And he says, "This is what your son did to my son." And there's still little blood marks on there, little burn marks on there. And so my dad says, "I see him again. I hear that he does this again. I'm going to kill him." And he turned around and he walked away. And about an hour later, that kid and his 2 buddies came over to our house, knocked on the door, and apologized. He says, "Sir, Mr. Lowe," he says, "I don't want to die. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry." That's
Shocked
what
the
my
living
dad. That
shit
was
out
the
of the
Southern
kid.
culture. You touch
Yeah,
my kid, I'll kill you. That's all there was
I'll
to
kill
it.
you. Yeah.
And with what they did, what he did to her,
Oh,
I see
oh,
it.
oh.
I could see Elvis flying out there and killing him,
Mm,
because
mm,
that's worse than
mm.
burning somebody with cigarettes. It'll
Yeah.
fucking hurt. I'm telling you right now. But but since now between 7th and 8th grade, that's when I had my growth spurt. So when I went get back, I was taller and bigger than they were. They
Mm,
never picked on me again. Nobody ever picked on me again. And I also started taking. I took a year and a half of karate for self defense, martial arts, whatever you call it back. I don't know if it was karate or martial arts, but it was a defensive class, and they taught you some of martial arts and fighting and all that. So I
mm,
learned to protect myself. But that was my dad. That's a Southern. That's the Southern. That is the Southern culture, especially back then.
mm, mm,
Anyway, sorry to digress there, but I see
mm,
it, and that's the way my dad was. My dad can sense that whole deal with Priscilla. He just never trusted her. He said that ain't right. He says Elvis would have never married a woman like that.
mm.
He said he wouldn't have married somebody like that.
Somebody, unfortunately, with all due respect, somebody had him by the shorts and collies. Somebody had something on him.
There was something about her father. Wasn't it Joe Esposito? Wasn't the conversation between him and Red or somebody, was a conversation where he mentions that I had to do it? Her father was
Pressuring him.
some kind of. Anyway, listen, guys, this has been fun. I really appreciate it. It's been 2 hours and 15 minutes. Monday, Planet, if you want to join us again, Monday at 5. Maybe I'll do it a little bit earlier. Maybe I'll do it at 4. That might work better for everybody. I can do it at any time, so it's just you guys. And we'll just finish this off. We started earlier with videos and all that. Now, what I might do is pull out a couple of clips from the one that I saw I'll share. But other than that, we're just going to go straight to this um, recap that I got from Kyle. Really, it's really given a good side by side, and then I've got a graph I'm going to show. It kind of lays everything out by a graph. You think Elvis was being black? I think there was something in
Yes,
there that
something.
I think they may have just been saying, "Hey, listen, we'll say this and that." Yeah, I think. Oh shit! Sorry, Kyle. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Um, I think they saw an opportunity to say, "Hey, listen, if you don't marry him, we're going to tell him this. We're going to tell him that, whether it was true or not. We'll just tell him." And
Yeah,
Elvis was the type of person that I don't need any of that. I don't need rumors out there, because
yeah,
a rumor, here's my thought. They're gonna say I think and even though Priscilla disputes that anything happened, I think they would come to say, yeah, Elvis slept with our daughter at 15 years old.
yeah.
And just the saying of that rumor would ruin somebody's reputation, period. True or not.
Hmm.
Even though Priscilla has always disputed that.
I mean, look at the bullshit she's spewing now.
Yeah, she's
Just,
spewing all this
just,
bullshit, but she still
just for
disputes that
no,
one thing.
just for notoriety.
But I'm going to say it for the last time. I've said it again. She's the worst thing that ever happened to Elvis Presley's legacy, period. She's making it worse today. And I'm going to tell you one thing, someone else that is going to ruin his legacy is this frickin' Donna Presley, who has spreading this rumor that he was murdered. That Vernon told her that she was murdered, that he was murdered. Why would a woman who was not born with the name Presley, was not married to anybody named Presley, take the name Presley?
Cha-ching!
That's it. She's got a book coming out. Got to. The only reason to do it is for monetary gain. She's got no other reason. She could still have her regular name, her real name, and say I was the first cousin of Elvis.
Yeah.
Danny Smith, Billy Smith never changed their last name to Presley, and everybody knows who
No.
they are.
Yeah.
Who else is out there that didn't have his last name that were relatives? You know, it just
Patsy only got the surname due to association, but she never legally went by Patsy Gamble Presley.
yeah,
Presley was only put on the end of it so that people
yeah.
knew who Patsy was, which Patsy they were
She
talking about.
this woman changes her last name, and she's vicariously living off of his name.
Aren't they all? Unfortunately.
Anyway, that's the only reason she changed her last name. And I cannot think for the life of me any other reason.
I don't know, Kirsty, do you know the lifespan of a cockroach?
Well, that one just died right now. Here's another one.
I'm sorry, I had to lighten the mood because my God, that's all. That
You're
woman
right,
just
Kirsty. As soon as she passes away, his legacy will thrive. Who else is there to ruin it? Donna's the same age as Priscilla, so anyway. All right, guys. Hey, listen, this has been a nice group, nice discussion. We've had a nice, I enjoyed it. I hope you all liked it. Enjoyed it, and it's so civil. Thank you for being so civil. You know, I I'm enjoying this. I'm glad to be doing this without all the pressure that we've had for a couple of weeks. It's really nice
yeah,
to
and
have that gone.
that's exactly that, Tracy. I mean, Patsy never ever referred to herself as a Presley, but she
Right.
knew that they put Presley on the end of her name when she was on TV or in books so that people knew which cousin they were referring to. But if I remember correctly, she was one day flat out asked, and she said, no. She said, I'm married to Gamble. She said, but I am Elvis's first cousin. So, yes, technically, if you want to look at it, I am a Presley, but only by blood in my veins. But I'm not a Presley by name.
You know who's the most successful person, descendant of Elvis since he died?
Hmm.
Riley. I mean,
Yes.
Lisa did her albums, but look what Riley has done without the name Presley. And for the longest time, people didn't even connect the two. She went out
Yes.
there and she's got his DNA. There's no doubt about it. But she can sing,
Oh,
she can
shit.
act, she started off modeling. She's absolutely beautiful. She's intelligent. She's a good businesswoman.
Yeah,
So
she.
I would say financial wise and just with I mean, she's a producer, she's a director, God, what a businesswoman,
She learned.
and and she's done it all on her own.
She learned from her mama. Her mama did
Yeah,
right.
oh, no doubt. Lisa Marie, she's the most known descendant of Elvis, the best known descendant. And Lisa, well, when I say most successful, I mean as far as the career, not the inheritance and all that. I mean the career that she's developed
Being able to forge a way for herself without
without the
having
name of Presley.
not. And before I get shot for this, not saying that Lisa ever did, but um, you
Right.
know, but I think for a lot of time, maybe even unbeknownst to Lisa, that uh, she got into a few doorways and she got a few people to look and listen to
Yeah.
whatever she proposed because of her name.
Yeah.
I think, and I think, and that's why I'll say it until the end of time. I still look up to that woman with so much respect because
Yeah, we both.
growing up, growing up the way she grew up, having gone through what she had to go through,
It made her one
um,
tough person.
and having to carry the amount of pain and regret that she had, unbeknownst to us, and she still was able to instill that uh, incredible fighting spirit in her children. Uh, there's no person on this earth that will be able to deface her legacy or Elvis's legacy in my eyes. So her mother can bring it on. The
Yeah.
people out there that really know, we know,
Yeah.
and in her absence on this planet, but wherever she is now, well done. You
Yeah.
did good. You have my respect.
Yeah, you're right, Lori. She has a very supportive husband, two beautiful children. She knows her legacy. People give her grief because she doesn't call at certain times. Doesn't call. She doesn't. She calls her grandfather Elvis. Well, I think she does it at the times when she needs to call him Elvis. But then when she's talking on a personal manner, it's her grandfather.
And it's also difficult because remember, she wasn't. They weren't around when Elvis was around,
Right.
so they were never afforded the ability or the opportunity to build that emotional bond with Elvis as their grandparent. And I mean, we could personalize it in our own lives. Think how difficult it would be for us to to call a grandparent grandma or grandfather if
Yeah.
you've never known the person. You can't. It's almost impossible. It's you know and just sitting here thinking about it now, isn't it a little bit ironic in a way that when Elvis was here, he never really understood or felt worthy of the appreciation and respect that we have for him as a person. He always said that we only love the person on the banner, not the real person.
Hmm.
But in a way, Lisa kind of had the same thing.
Yeah, Elvis. Yeah, you're right. Elvis never. He died never really understanding
Why?
why, and yet in reverse, you look at Priscilla, who thinks that she's entitled to all that notoriety, that she's entitled to that, she thinks in her mind that she's all that. She doesn't go through her mind and say, I wonder why people, she doesn't do that. Well, it's going
Yes.
to get to the point where she's going to start really wondering why people are starting to dislike her and why she's not really selling tickets for her book tour or selling books. Maybe it'll finally hit her. I don't know. I don't think so.
No.
Narcissism doesn't. Narcissism. Oh, of course, we know
They
about narcissism, and
they never wrong.
they're never wrong. They're never wrong. It's everybody else's. That's what her book's about. It's everybody else's fault.
You
What?
know, all I can hope for now is, I think on the good side is Lisa
Me too,
did in
Winterhawk.
Lisa did in a way kind of understand what Elvis wasn't able to understand, and that is why we have so much love and respect for them. But I don't really think Lisa really understood the depth to which it goes, and I honestly hope wherever they now are, both of them, that they can finally look back and say, now we understand, now we get it, now it makes sense.
I'm looking to see the answer now. Just question. New York Times dot book sales. Well, it should be under fiction, but it's not, is it? Well, it's not in the top 10 yet.
Will it even get there?
I don't know when I'm sure it won't be on this list anyways. I don't think it'll be on the list until.
Hey, she's got to be careful. I read somewhere that they busy compiling a Bonnie and Friends uh, A Bonnie and Friends limited edition DVD set.
Is it? What if it's hardback? Let's see. What about combined print and ebook edition? She's not in that list either. Oh, she's in the garbage pile. I'm so bad. And you know what? I hate to wish. I hate to wish bad luck on everybody, but this is one person that deserves to be hit right in the face to let you know, hey,
Karma's a bitch, man.
yeah, it's going to be a week or so before we find out the sales. Next week, maybe we'll know. I don't know when they release the top. I think they release them on Tuesdays, same time they release the books. But just given, just given that for 5 weeks now they've been saying, I've been getting posts from Facebook, only 500 books left. Then I get next week, only 500 books left. Then I get one, only 499 books left. And then I get one, oops, somebody must have returned it. and then people not selling. That she's not. They're having to cancel shows. They canceled the one in L.A. where she lives. They canceled that show. I looked up the show for the 13th of October, and there's not even a quarter of the seats sold in the arena yet. The one that I watched on Tuesday, there was only a third, maybe a third, excuse me, of the tickets sold.
Honestly, let's be honest. Before, as soon as it became known that she was writing this shithole of a book, we all knew it was going to be coming from the stance to rebuke Lisa's book. But one thing that does in fact surprise me is to the level that she's gone to deface her own daughter. Because that's in essence what she's doing. She's posthumously calling her own daughter a liar. And for what? To save face with a community that don't feel shit about you anyway. Really?
Let's see
What a fucking miserable life she must be living.
okay. It's currently on the number 48 in the top 100.
I wonder who she
I hate
played
to see.
off this week.
I wonder what. Boy, the 52 below it must be really bad books.
That's the sad thing, really, for me, is that she's publicly coming out like this, and she's openly calling her own flesh and blood, her daughter, a liar.
Yeah. Well,
And uh,
dude, she was gonna. She was. Sorry, I don't mean to call you dude. I've never called you dude before. She sued her. She was gonna sue her. I mean, what mother does that? Sue her. She sued her granddaughter.
yeah,
All about money.
I remember seeing that on YouTube that day. My blood went straight through the ceiling. My wife even said to me, "Good God, what happened now?" I said, "You won't believe this." She said, "What?" I said, "Priscilla died on Sunday, right?" I said, "Priscilla went to court this morning and filed documents. She wants to sue Lisa's estate for money." My wife went ash and snow. She went gray. She said, "What? You're joking. Must be fake news." I said, "Hell no." I said, "Go, there it is. Go read it." She
Well,
read it
Listener
and
Hog, I did. I bought the. Well, I did it for the channel because I really wanted to be able to do a discussion like this, which I'm glad I did. But I bought the book and I bought the audio book. I bought them both. It cost me, let's see, 15. Cost me less than $30 for both of them. Then I bought the ticket for the interview, which was $25. So I spent $50, say, on the $55 on the whole thing. Um,
Uh,
Here's the deal with that. I don't look at it as, at least I know that all that money's not going to her. The ticket sales goes to the promoters. She gets paid to go on the book tour, but and they're getting their money back from this. So at least in one way she's making money off of me. But I did this, and I've mentioned this for the weeks when I heard about the book, that that's what I was going to do so that we could have this discussion. And I think it's turning out to be a nice, good discussion, and just proving of what the book was going to be about.
you guys have literally just changed my perception. You and Winterhawk have just literally changed my perception. 5 minutes ago, I would have said I wouldn't buy the book even if it was 10 cents, right?
No.
But now, based on what you guys have just said, you've literally changed my perception to the positive, in the sense that I failed to realize that, yes, Elvis fans, buy the book. Let her put the weapon back in your hands, because
Hmm.
in essence, what she's doing is she's giving us all the mirror by which to lift up and to show her, to exposing herself. So, yes, buy the book. Buy the book. Because the more people that are going to read this book and say, but hang on, she's speaking a bunch of lies here. She's contradicting herself.
Hmm.
She's throwing Lisa under the bus. She's destroying everybody's credibility, least of all her own. She has done, she has literally made the best public relations move anybody could make if they want to destroy themselves.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. She's showing, she's out there on tour showing what a liar she is. When you can't even get the number of guys right
Yeah.
that were hanging around, 5, 6, 10, when you can't even get the facts about your son being on fentanyl, you can't get the fact, you can't even call your granddaughter your granddaughter, you call her your daughter. It just goes to
Yeah.
show you this woman is totally unhinged, and it's about,
Yeah.
she is still fucking pissed about the whole deal of the money, the
Yeah.
trust, and all that. And now they went to the suit, she got money, now she wants more fucking money.
Yes, in a way, Kirsty, I agree with you, but look at it this way. The money is a small price to pay. Because look at the end goal here. The end goal is she's slowly outing herself, right? She's slowly but surely outing herself. Yes, we in the Elvis world know she's a crock of shit, right? But the rest of the world doesn't. She's slowly outing herself.
Mm.
So the amount of money that people pay for the book, that's a small price, because the method, it's a means to an end. And it just goes to show, I'm sorry, I'm going very deep into this, but in my mind, this is what I'm seeing. It just goes to show how badly twisted in the narcissistic persona she is, that she can't even realize that with every move she makes, with every utterance she makes, she's burying herself deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into it.
Now,
So the money, the $12 that people are paying for the book, or the $30 for the ticket to go and put your ass there in a comfortable chair and listen to her puke for an hour, that's a small price to pay, because she has done so much damage. She has literally now, within the last week of this book being out, she is slowly but surely unraveling the legacy that she took 40 years to create. And that legacy is, she wanted to create a legacy of being the loving wife and the loving mother. She is slowly but surely unraveling that legacy. And
All
when
right.
that last piece of cotton is pulled out of that legacy that's now unraveling, she ain't gonna have jack shit to stand on.
All right. So, anybody out there that wants a copy of the audio book, email me.
Can you
Anybody
get
wants
Blue
a
Moon
copy of
Bob
the
to read?
PDF, email me.
Can you fix it so the audiobook can be read by Blue Moon Bob?
Well,
Because
Blue Moon Bob.
I would rather listen to Blue Moon Bob read me the book than Priscilla.
That'd take some time, but
No, I'm just kidding.
just just listen to it at fast speed. Sounds
I,
like me.
I I could barely get through that hour interview, dude. Let alone the damn book.
It's actually kind of humorous faster. It's just I kind of had to laugh when I was listening to it, but it's much easier when I listen to it at faster speed. I have to do it while I read it with the Kindle, because if you get both the audio book and the Kindle book through Amazon, it'll 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 read the book for you and it'll highlight as it reads, so you don't have to. So I can read a book faster and better that way on a faster speed and comprehend it
Yeah,
better.
yeah, Kelsey, that's exactly how narcissism works. The person will use you while you still have a purpose. The moment you no longer have a purpose in their scheme or in their narrative, they discard you like a piece of trash. They don't care whether you a friend or whether you their own child.
Right.
You are there to serve a purpose, like Kirsty said earlier in the show. You are
Thank you,
there.
Teresa.
You are there to serve a purpose, and that purpose is to exalt that person at whatever cost. And as soon as you've achieved that, uh, you've achieved that use to them, they discard you. They throw you away like a piece of trash, and they have no guilt about it. And that's exactly that. Priscilla has proven it. She's we knew it before her book even came out. We knew that she was gonna turn around and make Lisa out to be a liar.
What we said from the very beginning.
Yeah.
All rebuttal.
I was just curious to see how far she would go.
Yeah.
And that's why I said a couple of minutes ago, the depth to which she's gone to exalt herself at the expense of her own family, but it's fine. She's unraveling slowly but surely. And when
We know.
that last
Us fans know. We know it.
that
Okay,
last
guys.
piece
Hey,
of
listen. We're gonna end it here. It's getting closer to 3 hours now, and we're gonna pick this up Monday. Let's try it at 4. I hope if 4 doesn't work for you, just maybe I think 4 is probably gonna work better for everybody. So we'll just set up for 4 on Monday. Same topic. We'll just pick up from here, and we'll finish it. We'll finish this. We'll finish this recap of the book. And once again, thank you to everybody for joining us. Just remember, this is just our opinions. It's for entertainment purposes only. And I'm not going to play the fast version here real quick because we all know what it says. But I appreciate everybody once again joining in. A very pleasant and very great conversation. And it was it was a lot of things I gave me the things to ponder and things I never heard before. So,
thank you guys. See you guys tomorrow.
all right, buddy. All right, guys. Talk to y'all later. Have a good one. Bye bye.